I don't know who this is going to offend, but nobody is coming to save you, okay? You can wait until whoever comes down here to fix all your problems as long as you want, and you're going to be waiting and waiting and waiting. And you may even have to come back over here and wait again. Because at the end of the day, as much as it is a mindset, then you have to put in work and action. Like Florence Scovel Shinn says, I always follow a hunch. I'm wide awake to my good. I never miss a trick. So you always follow the action that comes after, oh, I call, like call and you shall be answered. So you call, and before you call, you shall be answered. Before that, so before you even know that you need something, it's already there, okay? But you have to go get it too. As much as it's finding you and you finding it, you have to go after what you want too. But like some things come to you and some things you go after. So for example, let me reiterate. So if you know it's going to rain, right, and you need water, put your buckets outside. So when it rains, you have the water that you need where you need it. So go after what you want, but not from a place of, oh, desperation and blah, 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 blah. More from a place of getting it. But at the same time, sometimes you have to start out in desperation, because some of us are desperate. You might be so desperate to get out of the situation that you are in that you would be willing to do anything. And I get that. And though it is also possible to keep, staying focused on what you're trying to do, keep staying focused on what you're doing, because you have to save yourself. You have to create a way for yourself. You're only going to have as much free time as you have right now. Okay? You're only going to have that, and maybe less later on, maybe more, whatever. But do what you have now. God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the higher being, the infinite intelligence, infinite spirit, whatever, it knows what you've been through. So you just have to show up a little bit, and then you'll be able to show up a little bit more later. You'll be able to show up a little bit more later, and it'll grow and grow and grow, and you'll be able to show up more and more and more and more and more for yourself and for others. But you have to give a little bit. You have to show up somewhat. If all you have is 5 minutes when you go to the bathroom to do what you got to do to try to build your dream, that's what you take it full advantage of. And eventually you'll have more. But you have to do everything that you can to get to where you want to be. You have to understand that your best might not be good enough. Okay? So you might have to evolve so that you can be a better version, because who you were yesterday probably can't have the life that you're going to have or the life that you want years and years from now. Who is that? Like Jim Rohn says, you become a millionaire not because you want to be a millionaire. You become a millionaire by the person you become by becoming a millionaire. Okay? Y'all need to get hip on Jim Rohn. Okay? And Florence Scovel Shinn. Okay? I'm always talking about them. Florence Scovel Shinn is my favorite author. You know why? Because in the 1920s and 40s was when her books were coming out, and she was a woman, okay? She was a children's illustrator for children's books, and she was an author in the 20s and 40s and stuff. Okay? So if she can do it, you can do it. But you have to do it today. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always like, oh, you do all that meditating if you want to, which you should, and I do encourage, and you put in that work too. Because ain't nobody coming to get you. Ain't nobody rescuing you. This ain't a Disney movie. And you know what? If you really got out of the romanticism of Disney movies, those movies are effed up. Okay? What do you mean a woman, a young girl? Because most of these princesses are teenagers. This teenage girl was in the forest because she was roofied by her stepmother, and then some random man found her laying there and decided to put his lips on an unconscious woman. She woke up and then forced her to marry him. That sounds like kidnapping to me. That don't sound like no happy story. That's crazy. That's straight up crazy. He would go to jail now. He would have been canceled. So you want a Disney fairy life? Are you really paying attention to what is going on? And in another version of the story, an older version, the Sleeping Beauty lady was asleep and she woke up because she was in labor and she had twins. So the man, not that he just kissed her, he full on did the nasty to her while she was unconscious and asleep, and then turn around, she woke up from labor pains. And that's the movie that we're like, oh, I want my prince. You want that MFer? What? For real? You want a prince? Absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm fine. That's a scary reality of what we're idolizing. So when you go out and get it, don't just be thinking, oh, you know, I'm trying to get it because I'm trying to stunt on them, blah, blah, blah. Do that. Do your stunting on whoever you want to stunt on. Even Jim Ron said that when he got his money, he had a loan that he had to pay, and there was this rude loan person. So when he finally got his money, I think he said he brought it in pennies or something like that, because he was petty and he knew what was up. That's why I like Jim Ron, because he's just who he is, period. And so you just have to be who you are. And that requires saving yourself. So whatever it is that you feel passionate about, that you want to do, like, take full advantage of doing that. Because the Rockefellers, I believe it was them, one of the people, or one of these dynasty families, the guy said, the more people that think like you that are in positions of power, the better. Okay, so the more people that think like me, that think like you, that think like us, that are in positions of power, the better. And ain't nobody coming to give you an olive branch, baby. You got to get it your own self. Because in this space, in certain places, these people are crazy. So you have to have your vibration. You have to be vibrating at a certain frequency so that them MFs don't even come around. And you got to be crazy enough and bold enough to step with it either way. Like my mama says, and Aunt Kelly would have said, you got to out crazy a mofo. Sometimes you got to let people know what time it is energetically, and like, you know, pick an easier target. Because I'm crazy, you know. And the thing is, like, you got to have that mentality too while you're putting yourself out there, because uncomfort is a part of growth. Every opportunity you have to grow and evolve, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, and it's a healthy growth and evolution, you have to take it, because that is a courage step. Every time you do something you didn't think you could do before, or that you felt nervous to do and you do it anyway, that is a confidence boost. That is a step in the right direction. That is proof that you are improving, okay? And that's the way that you have to prove. Sometimes you have to put those videos out there. You have to go out in the community. You have to talk to people. You have to put yourself in situations that feel uncomfortable because they're new, not uncomfortable because they're scary. Not uncomfortable because you feel icky. Not that type of uncomfortable. Those things you probably need to run. But uncomfortable as in the way like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm nervous to do this because, you know, like I don't usually talk on stage in front of a lot of people. You know, I don't usually do this. I'm usually sing in front of people. I usually dance in front of people. And you have to have the courage to do it anyway. And when you have the courage to do it anyway, that is how you feel more confident and you feel better to do it next time. But that's the same with anything. Anything that you accept and utilize, it will grow. So just like with bad habits, you do it the first time, I'm not really feeling this. The second time, it's like, okay, you know, this a little bit. The third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. So everything that you allow in your space magnifies and intensifies. And that's why now I don't have anybody in my life who is a detractor, period. I just will not allow it. I do not allow space for detractors. Period. Because you are either adding or you are taking away. And if you are not adding to my good and to my benefit, then you got to go. And there are people who are the people who would probably be cut out of my life that will be on my comments like, oh my gosh, you're so selfish, da, 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 da. And I just feel like the only person that would think that is somebody that's guilty of being a BSer and just wants people to put up with their nonsense. Because if you are not a nonsense starter or a nonsense causer, why would you be mad that someone you don't even know, would cut out the nonsense out of my life? What does that say about you? You must be crazy. You feel me? Something's wrong. So all that to say, at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, and everything between, nobody's coming to save you. Okay. And in fact, there will be more people along your journey that try to hinder you and ruin you. And that's why it's better to get the detractors out of your life, especially the ones that are closest to you. Because if you get them out before stuff hits the fan, you'll be all right. But if you got to be slow to marry, quick to divorce, slow to hire, quick to fire. I'm not saying like literally divorce, but you know, hypothetically speaking, you got to be slow to hire, quick to fire. Both. Because slow to get into that space where it's like, okay, like, you know, I'm really putting my faith in you that you're going to do this job, you're going to do it well. And then if I notice that you're not, you got to go. Period. Now, we might give you an opportunity, you know, what's going on. Obviously, like, I noticed you've not been acting the same way, you know, what's happening, yada, yada, yada. But the moment that you notice there's something off, they got to go. Because there will be enough of that outside. There will be enough of that you have to deal with in society. There will be enough of that on social media. You don't need that in your circle. Let them buy a ticket if they want to come. Let them buy a ticket if they want to come in. But you ain't getting no invites. Because, like I said, the world will try to bring you down in different and various ways. So you have to realize that nobody is coming to save you. Okay? Now, once I get on, am I going to be around, you know, helping MFers and saving people? No. But will I put a raft out so that the people that can save themselves can be guided? Will I help people come in? Sure. Maybe. I'm going to be too busy having fun. But if I see somebody drowning, I'll throw a thing up out there, but you ain't finna drown me. Because a lot of times people be causing stuff in their life and then you go out try to help them and they turn around and try to F you over and sabotage you. Everybody in my entire life that I've ever tried to be nice to or that I've tried to help, it ended up biting me in the butt. The difference between being called to do something and just doing it because you need to feel validation, because you feel like you get validation when you've done something for someone. So then you think you always have to do stuff for other people. That was me. Always trying to please people, people pleasing. But that's gone. Okay. And you know how it left? It was when I cut off my negative relatives. Okay. Period. I cut anybody off. It's a wrap for you, baby. It's a wrap. But it's for real. It's a wrap. And it's nothing personal. It's just business. Because, like, what did Jay-Z say? I think he said, like, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Like, literally everything is business-minded. It's about effectiveness and efficiency. And if you're not causing effectiveness, you're not helping me be efficient, then you got to go. I wish you the best and everything. And I might still love you and stuff. But if you're not effective and efficient, you're detracting. And nobody has time for that. I get it that you had trauma, but heal that stuff before you come around me. My love is conditional. My respect is absolutely conditional. My unconditional love is very much so conditional. Because that's dumb. Why would you just keep sticking your neck out for someone so they can come back and keep chopping it? That's self-sabotage too. Those days are over, baby. You know, we prioritize self these days. Self-care, self-love. I'm selfish, AF. And I want you to know that I did try my best with you. Dun, dun, dun. I caught something that was just for you and I got the time, something, I'm doing it right. Self-care. I can sing for real, y'all. I'm just playing. But I think her name is Savannah Christine. It was like Selfish is the song. I like that song. And I'm selfish, baby, AF. And for real. And I want you to know that I did try my best with you. I did. But you know what? Some people ain't worth that. That's the thing. If you're not effective and you're not efficient in the life, you have to be removed from my experience. You can live your life somewhere else. But you know, for real, there's enough people on the outside that'll do you wrong. You can't be worried about the people that you around doing you wrong. Because those people do you wrong the worst. Those people that you could trust, you can only be, I've always told my students this especially, You can only ever be betrayed by someone you trusted. That's the definition of betrayal. So you have to be mindful. So it don't matter who they are to you relationship wise. If you're ineffective and inefficient, and in fact, not just that, but you're trying to take from me, you're trying to pull me down, you got to go. Because you're messing the business up. Monitoring yourself. I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. I operate my life as a business. I hold myself to a high standard. So why the F would I accept disrespect from you? I don't even let myself get overly emotional about stuff. So why the F would I deal with your over emotional A? I don't even take that ish from myself. So what I look like taking it from you. And part of saving myself was recognizing that I had to work on my self-worth and realize that I don't need these people. Okay? And thankfully I was blessed to also have people who really, really, really love me on some real stuff. Okay? So that also is a huge blessing. But I had to get away from the detractors, and then it became easier, save myself, get out of this stuff, save my mental, save my inner child, save my emotional stability, save my mind, save my hair. Look at my hair, it's thriving. Shout out to me and my mom's products, okay? Link in the description, period. My hair used to be 1 inch long. Now I don't even know how many inches it is, okay? Yes, this is all my hair. Period. Let me get some water. Thirsty. And you know, there's some people that's really resonating with this because you know what's up. You know what's up. Because nobody's coming to save you. So you have to save yourself. And part of saving yourself is realizing who's sending stuff after you. If you next to the enemy, you ain't never gonna get nowhere. So part of getting to where you want to be, and part of evolving, and part of becoming the best you could be, is realizing who is trying to F you over, who is trying to get you off your game, who is trying to set you up and do bad things to you, who has been doing that stuff you didn't even notice, you didn't even realize it because you love them too much. You love them too much to acknowledge the fact that they hated you. You love them too much to acknowledge the fact that they didn't love you. For real. On some real stuff. Or they hated you more than they loved you because they hated themselves. And it doesn't matter. Yes, they had trauma. Okay, we all have had trauma. And perhaps, definitely, if someone is so bad, they've had a lot of trauma. But at least make an effort to improve. Instead of getting angry, why doesn't such and such call me? Well, okay. Well, why are you still on, like I be seeing these parents on social media, why are you still on social media talking about, well, Biden, are you really confused why your child won't call you and that's how you're reacting? Is it that surprising to you that maybe your child doesn't want to be disrespected and talked down upon by you? Is it really so hard to believe that somebody would stand up for themselves and decide that I'm not dealing with your BS, you are not worth it? Period. And I'm not saying that you're not worth life, but you're not worth my time. Because my time is precious. And you only have a certain amount of time to do what you came to do. Period. And you can't be taking people that's trying to throw you off. Like I said, buy a ticket if you want to come. Period. Save yourself.